Call of Duty Vanguard is a game for children who did not understand this box. In this exciting new entry into the over 20 game franchise, you play as generic human 4279 as you and your totally real friends invade Normandy for the 7th time in this franchise. Play against other brain-dead chimps in an online gambling site disguised as a game. What? Am I hurting your feelings? Good. Let's search for a better game here. Ah, here we go. Euro Truck Simulator 2 is a game set in the exciting, strange real universe of Ohio, where you play as the self-proclaimed king of the road. In this exciting new entry into the franchise of 2 games, you navigate the highway, avoid collisions, and... What? This is exciting, you say? Excellent. Sit back, park your car wrong, and join me as I talk to you about video games instead of doing my taxes. Simulators are cool because instead of turning off your brain and playing Valorant while being considered clinically dead, you must turn on your brain and neuron activation your way into learning over 3,000 individual game mechanics and real-world concepts before you enter the tutorial section of the game. But let's dive deeper. What is a simulation? Well, to determine that, we must look at the dictionary and actually read. A simulation is meant to be representative of real life, and every action performed in real life should have a similar, if not identical, representation for it to be a good simulator. A game is what makes it fun. You can have a good game, but a lousy simulator, the same way you can have friends that don't exist. The appeal of simulators is that there's an inherent entertainment in pushing buttons like an untrained gibbon. When you finally figure it out, after watching countless hours of videos, you are rewarded with yet another 4 hours of YouTube tutorials from a man that sounds like this.
And we'll look at that a bit later. Now to defensive posturing. So examples would be if we were protecting an area, let's say protecting an area where there were...
But hey, reading the A10 Warthog for Dummies like it's Beethoven composing a rock concert is a great waste of time. This is good because you can finally prove to your parents that their special child should not have been their first choice when signing the adoption papers. Once more, sit back, do a little jig, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Digital Combat Simulator, better known as DCS, is a high-fidelity flight simulator. In this exciting and ongoing franchise of one whole game, you take the pilot seat of an $80 or more piece of downloadable content. That is not a joke. Every plane costs over 80 actual in real life dollar money. And seeing as I am not a 40-year-old dad with expendable income, I do not have very much experience in this game, but I'm more focused on telling you about the simulator than I am my minimum wage income. The incredible work of the developers really shows the high fidelity cockpits and full range of functionality before it slaps you into the stratosphere. This is not Ace Combat or Project Wingman, where you can carry an absurd amount of missiles. To get into DCS, you must know at least 2, maybe 3 things about planes. How to start your engine, how to take off safely, basic flight maneuvers, logistical and realistic aircraft formation over radio using high knowledge. I own an FA-18 Super Hornet. Therefore, I downloaded a 500-page document on how to properly fly it. Even after months of reading, I still feel like a crack-addicted spider monkey every time I get into the cockpit. Nevertheless, the developer's commitment to realism and flight simulation is commendable at worst, and worthy of a Nobel Prize at best. The visual and graphical quality of this game is unmatched. The beautiful scenery and incredible detail on the models is striking. Unfortunately, the world around you is moving so fast, flying past anything is like sprinting through the Louvre. How am I supposed to appreciate the Mona Lisa when it looks like this? This game is so graphically advanced, in fact, it has been portrayed in the news as actual combat footage from real-world events. All of this really adds up to make DCS a real 10 out of good. VTOL VR is just DCS but fun. What I mean by that is that VTOL VR is a virtual reality title that takes the core fundamentals of flight simulation and simplifies it slightly. Yes, you strap a monitor to your head to play this. And yes, you must do physical work by physically moving your very real and physical hand, pushing the buttons yourself. The simplification does wonders for the format. Removing 2% of the controls was really helpful. Here, concepts such as over radio using VR technology still apply but are slightly gamified. Let me walk you through how to start your aircraft and take off. First, turn on your main battery, then turn on your APU, then turn on both of your engines, but not too fast. Turn your MFDs on, switch to fuel, switch to RWR, switch to navigation, switch to radar, turn your radar on, smash that like button, and pray. Now you see I forgot to unfold my wings. Help! Flying a plane without wings is hard, but don't worry, the guys on that cruiser don't have family. On the flip side, Arma 3 is a military simulation sandbox game that prides itself on player freedom. And by player freedom, I mean total freedom. The game is expansive, and features over what feels like 400 individual keybinds you must remember. Yes, this game is ugly, and looks about as bland as a salesperson's career. But unlike War Thunder, the game is fun. And the reason I refuse to talk about War Thunder is the fact that this game is objectively bad.
Block watch. Somebody asked me if I'm autistic. I'm autistic as shit.
And the reviews on Steam have more complaints than a call center. So unlike War Thunder, Arma 3 is above all fun. And it's because of moments like these.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book.
In short, remember when I called DCS a simulator and not a game? Well, that's because Arma is bordering on the edge of having an aneurysm. Unfortunately, Arma 3 has become outdated in many ways, not only visually, but conceptually. More popular today are the smaller scale subgenre of simulation-style tactical games.
Emergency.
Ready or Not is unlike any other simulation game. It's not bright, colorful, or mechanically complex. Don't worry, I won't be showing anything too graphic. The video up until now is meant to be taken lightheartedly, but I want to change the tone to discuss the context of realism in a setting like this. Ready or Not depicts a modern-day world in which SWAT police units are called to defuse hostile and confronting situations. I wanted to talk about this game for a couple of reasons. Not only is the game incredible, visually and mechanically, but because the experience is genuinely scary at times. There's genuinely a lot to say, and I don't know where to start. Realism in this game isn't derived solely from the game's mechanics and gameplay, it's derived from the context of the game. The world it is set in is what makes this so effective. It's no surprise that the world is an ugly place, but people nowadays experience it from a screen on their phone or laptop, the news even. But what Ready or Not does is put you right at the center of all of it. You get down and dirty, raiding compounds in the slums of Chicago. Civilians get caught in the crossfire, guns snap, and plans fall apart in the blink of an eye. Where other titles only allow you to kill, Ready or Not attempts to challenge how you handle combat, with a rule-based emphasis on less lethal and safe takedowns. There's a plethora of tools at your disposal to do just that. The game offers anything from beanbag shotguns to tasers and flashbangs and pepper spray. However, once provoked, the playing ground becomes even. Every scenario is based on real-life events and locations. Ready or Not doesn't glorify violence unlike other shooters. If anything, it actively speaks against the actions of taking a person's life. The game does everything to immerse you in its setting, and it nails it. I do not recommend playing this game. Not because it's not good. If anything, it does nearly everything right. From visuals and animations to sound and level design, AI is responsive and adaptive, gameplay is smooth and unique. But being in a setting like this is only suitable for so long. The point that I'm getting at is that simulators are merely a subgenre of games that I don't think get enough attention. There's plenty of interesting simulator titles I didn't touch on simply for the sake of brevity. Some simulators can be very impactful pieces of software, such as training pilots or astronauts, to immersing yourself in the wide expansive universe of Chair Simulator, which is one of my personal all-time favorites. There's a lot of variety, and each game is unique in itself. Given I've ranted to you about video games now for the past I don't even know how long, it's time to take a look back and reflect on what this is all about. To put it bluntly, I'm passionate about video games, and if that point wasn't clear, then you haven't been paying attention. I enjoy simulators just as much as the next guy, but in the end it's about fun. So whether you're a die-hard Call of Duty fan, now angry that I called you a lobotomized child, just know that it took me 5 months of non-stop grinding to get whatever the hell this thing is.